When I was little, my mother and my father used to read me all sorts of wonderful stories. And the ones I loved best were the ones that were beautifully illustrated, um, which probably is why I also do art. Um, my favorite children's illustrator was Tasha Tudor, and I was given this book when I was about 3, I think. There's an inscription in it. I'll have the year. No, I was 2, 2.5, almost 3. My stepfather gave this to me. This is The Night Before Christmas, as illustrated by Tasha Tudor. And, you know, her favorite dogs were corgis. And corgis are in most of her illustrated books and are probably why I'm sort of corgi obsessed. But I just thought, I mean, her illustrations are amazing. They're all watercolor and just so beautiful. I highly advocate the importance of beautifully illustrated children's books. I think it just feeds the imagination. One of my absolute favorite storybooks as a child was The Giant Golden Book of Elves and Fairies, which I know, I'm sorry, it's backwards, but it's illustrated by Garth Williams, who is the gentleman who illustrated the Laura Ingalls Wilder's Little House on the Prairie series. And his illustrations are also full color and amazing. This one is my favorite story in the whole book, Singeli and the Silver Slippers. I think it's from Sweden. I'm not entirely sure about that, but it has to do with elves and trolls, and the costuming in it looks to me like Sweden or Norway, one of those upper countries there. I liked rhyming ones because I like music and singing. This was Rain Makes Applesauce. This was also one of my favorites when I was little. And this one my mother gave me. This is not the original copy that I had. She gave me this one Christmas 2017, and the inscription says, with, you know, love from the memories. And all of these were hand-drawn illustrations as well. I used to love these. And then my mom and I, at the end of every stanza, it says, "And rain makes applesauce." My mom and I would just shout it. My sister had this one. It's called Miss Rumphius, but I call it the Lupine Lady. And it's also illustrated in full color and with beautiful illustrations. And it's the story of a little girl in the probably late 1800s, early 1900s. And she grows up and is rather an adventurer and does her own thing, and she doesn't stick around and, you know, do the established thing for women of her station at the time, meaning, you know, getting married quite young and having children and you know, being the elegant lady wife. She actually was an adventurer, and she took off and explored the world and went everywhere, and she came back and settled in a house on the coast, and I would believe probably in Maine from what's in the story, and ends up, her gift to the world is she gets handfuls, she keeps pockets fulls of seeds, of lupine seeds, and she wanders all over the countryside just scattering the seeds, and for generations afterwards, and it actually illustrates the next couple of generations. She's known as the Lupine Lady, and flowers are everywhere, and it's a really beautiful story. This one was also one of my sisters that I loved. This one is called East of the Sun and West of the Moon, which is another far north fairy tale. And the images in this are a little different than I usually enjoyed as a child, but they just struck a chord with me. And it's sort of a Beauty and the Beast tale, and I just really loved stories like that. And then, of course, anything by Robert McCloskey. Blueberries for Sal was my favorite. I think we had all of them at one point. Blueberries for Sal and Make Way for Ducklings, joint favorites. My mother actually met McCloskey as a child, I think, and she, the Make Way for Ducklings was written about Boston, near the area where my mother's family was from. So we all have a special connection to that one. And then my sister also had this one, which I just recently managed to find and get through a secondhand bookseller online. Love Abe Books, by the way. I can't say these gentlemen's names. I can make a very bad guess at it. I think it's Rien Portliet and Will Huyen. Not sure, but it's called The Secrets of the Gnomes. This is the continuing version, book 2 in the series. They wrote another one first that I believe was just called Gnomes, and this is the continuing of it. And I gotta say, the illustrations are the most gorgeous, well done things. And the stories, it's so well told. It's so beautiful. I immediately, when my sister got this, tried to steal the book from her. I became obsessed with it because it's just so well done, so well written, so well illustrated. And I love stories like that. I used to read to my son. My son is 14 now. He's not crazy about reading himself. He's more visual, so he likes watching things online. He's really into crime drama at the moment. He's considering at some point being a fireman or a police detective. But he's also an amazing photographer, and I think part of his artistic sensibilities come from the fact that I read constantly to him as a child. I mean, starting before he was born, I would read to him. And I always read stories, especially after he was born, that had beautiful illustrations, because I think that's one of the best things you can do for a child is show them beautiful artwork. And when it's accompanied illustrating a beautiful story, it's just amazing how it inspires creativity and imagination. And I think that is so important, inspiring creativity and imagination.